Hello and welcome back to Inside the USFL podcast, giving you an inside look at the USFL from someone on the inside. To my right is Birmingham Stallions center Jordan McCray. I am Zach Brunner. We are heading into week 9, and it's an interesting situation for you guys. You guys are 8-0, clinched the number 1 seed. Some would say you have nothing to play for. Is that your guys' mindset going into week 9 then?
Honestly, no. That's not what we the mindset that we have. Our goal for the beginning, even from the beginning of the season, was to go 1-0 every week and win every game that we're going to be a part of. So we don't want to ease into the playoffs or anything of that nature. So we're approaching this game as a must-win game, and that's how we're going to attack it. So trying to go 1-0 every game, and this is just the next one. So it's the most important.
Yeah, I think that's been your guys' mentality from the beginning, is just week by week basis, figure it out. Obviously, it has worked. And going into this past game, again, you were 7-0, clinched the playoffs, going against the Breakers, who is seemingly going to be your first round matchup of the playoffs. So some people are wondering if you would come up flat. It's pretty obvious that you guys didn't. Final score may make people feel that way.
Yeah.
You guys, come in, drove the field, dominant first drive, and then a fumble on the goal line cost you guys a score. Is that a deflating thing for the offense when you guys are so dominant, drive the field, and then come up with 0 points at the end of it?
I'm not gonna lie, just a little bit, but we just try to put the mistakes behind us and get on to the next drive. But it was a little bit deflating, but with how successful we were that first drive, we knew that it was something that we could sustain, and just got to take it up to the next drive, make sure that we pick the guy up who made the mistake, and just keep it pushing like that. But I can't lie, it is a little deflating.
It's hard not to be, but
Yeah.
this is such a unique. This past game was so unique, just because what you guys normally do. Maybe you guys don't normally come out super hot, and then you get hot towards the end of the game. Is kind of the opposite. And after coming up, with empty the first drive, you would think maybe, you guys come out flat in the second drive. That's not the case, because that was the drive you guys scored your touchdown. But we don't need to sugarcoat it. I think this was probably the worst overall offensive special teams game.
Yep.
But you guys, I would assume, have to feel pretty good that was, the result was still a win, and it's the playoff team. So what's the overall team feel coming out of this game where it was such a narrow victory? Obviously,
I'm not gonna lie. At least from the offensive standpoint, yeah, we won the game, but our defense played their ass off. Really played well, and a lot of guys, especially on offense, had the same feeling coming out of the game. It's like, yeah, we won, but it doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of little mistakes that we were making. We were so strong to start, and then just couldn't sustain anything for a good portion of the rest of the game. So definitely something that we got to go back to the tape and have gone back to the tape and get a little bit better at. But we know how good we can be, and I guess it's like I say every week, it's always good to correct mistakes after a win, even if an ugly win like that, man. But it is what it is. 1 point victory or a 20-point victory, man. A victory is a victory. So we offensively, especially, we know that we can be a lot better. So it kind of felt like a loss, but I'm glad it wasn't.
Right. And winning fixes everything is the saying. But I mean, it's, in a way, it's good that you guys are going into the final 2 weeks of the season with clear things that you need to fix.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't need to go in and, if you don't need a win this next week, a win doesn't do anything for you, but there are things that you need to correct, and that could be, the win in the column for you guys, if nothing else.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Right. So, I mean, we can just talk about some of the self-imposed mistakes, because I'm wondering how you address those at this point in the season. So there, there's some fumbles, there's some drops, those happen. It is what it is. There was some bad snaps. I think not as many as the commentator wanted to point out. It seemed like he may have had an agenda. It was Collat or whatever, calling a snap that was at Jamar's face mask a high snap, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
How do you go into then or how do you correct these mistakes? Because 2 weeks left of the regular season, how much are these drilled on the practice field? How much is this classroom work? How do you correct mental mistakes?
Just being more focused on the details. Being accountable, having everyone else hold you accountable. I did have a couple of bad snaps in the game. Even the ones with the face mask, you really wanted around the chest area. So just fine tuning things like that. Like it's hard to be perfect, but you can always still strive to be that. So that's something that I'm going to be working on this week, making sure everything, especially when we have read options or anything like that, that the ball is right, or Jamar Alex don't have to look both ways to make sure they're not getting pressured, and then drops is something that receivers can work on as well. Just everybody just holding themselves a little bit more accountable, being a little bit more focused in and dialed in that practice is how we're going to get those problems. Because it is a lot of little things, but when it's so many little things, they become big. So just focusing on your little part, your 1/11th, and moving forward that way is how we're really going to focus on in that practice this week.
So if you're talking about correcting snaps that were, a little bit all over the place, is that something you're trying to take extra snaps in practice with the quarterback, just snapping, just to make sure you get in that rhythm? Or is it simply like, okay, I just need to make sure I concentrate on step one of the process before I do anything else?
I would say it's both. So before and after practice, I'll make sure I get a couple more, probably 20 to 25 snaps that are perfect, right on the 6 or right on the 2. And then just while I'm in the process of the practice, going through it like a game, okay, I'm stepping right this play, make sure that I open up my hip and the ball's going straight back, or I'm stepping left, or I'm going to be pulling. So just having a little bit more emphasis on that, as well as just making the calls and going through the motions in that sense. So just being a little bit more detailed and not just going through the motions, but making sure that you're making everything as perfect as it can be.
Sure. That makes sense. Just give maybe some Birmingham Stallions fans a sigh of relief here. I mean, there's 2 injuries to your quarterbacks. I think the Alex one is pretty obvious. He re-injured that ankle, it seems like.
Yeah.
It sucks. How's Jamar's hand doing? I know he kind of hit your face mask or something on a release. Is that good to go, you think?
Yeah, no, Jamar's good, and then Alex is in treatment, getting that ankle right. It really sucks for him, man, because we're going to be leaning on that zone read a little bit more as the end of the game went on, and he was saying before the game he was just starting to feel back normal, and then just got rolled up in an unfortunate circumstance. So he'll be back whenever he can be, and then we'll just keep going with Jamar and making sure that we're protecting Jamar as best we can.
So, last 2 weeks of the regular season, how much emphasis on being conservative, or at the very least, like holding maybe banged up players out of the game, do you think there is? Like Alex is probably not going to play, right? But
More than likely.
but if you're talking like Vic Bolden was out last week, I don't know where he is in his recovery. If there's someone who's on like that 50-50 line of playing, do you think you guys are going to keep them out with the hopes of let's just get fully healthy for the playoff push?
I think it's a little bit of both. If guys are feeling 100%, then Coach Holtz has made it be known that we're not going to be resting because it's not a long season. Of course, we want to go into the playoffs as healthy as possible, but we want to make sure that we're keeping up the streak that we do have. So if guys are 100% healthy with no nagging injuries or anything like that, they're going to play. But if we don't want anybody to go out there that this isn't the playoffs yet. So we don't want anybody to go out there and hurt something when they're not 100%. So we're just going to be smart when it comes to that. And if guys are out there, they'll be good enough to play and feel that they're close enough to 100 to contribute to a winning effort.
That is probably smart. Offensively, like we talked about, there's some weird things. You guys are still running the ball pretty well. I feel like your back field is really talented. I feel like they're really complimentary. I think Bo coming in was exactly what you guys were missing, and you guys are killing it there. One thing that seems a little bit off still, and I'm wondering if you have any insights into why, like the timing on screen seems to be a little bit off. Obviously, there's some situations where there should have been some contact made before releasing, but overall, again, is that something you guys are drilling in practice then? Just trying to get that timing right?
We have been drilling the screens and trying to get the timing right, but it's we just got to all be on the same page. We have a very diverse screen game. A lot of things sound alike, so one guy might hear one thing, and all it takes is on offense. All it takes is one guy to make a mistake for a screen to be bust. You know, and we looked at a lot of the screens that we did run, and if we were all on the same page, it would have been really, really big plays. So that's one of the things that we just got to make sure that we're dialed in and locked in, so that we can all get the play right and have a successful play or a successful screen. We're back. We're like 1 for 15 on screens right now. So
yeah, and just talking about some of your playmakers. I mean, those backfield guys. Talking about maybe Marlon Williams, Vic Bolden. Those are guys that need the ball in their hands in open space. I think once that clicks, I mean, this is the best offense in the USFL right now. That's going to be. It's going to be unstoppable, you know?
Definitely. And that's a lot of stuff that we talk about in the room is how talented we can be. And we're getting by right now. Our defense is playing lights out, but we can really take control of a lot of games if we just start executing on our part. You know, going up a couple of scores, forcing another team to only throw, and then letting our defensive line actually eat, and then our DBs cover and make plays like they already are making plays. So we just got to be better at complementary ball, because right now it's a little bit one-sided.
Yeah. Once you guys play complete games, I mean, it's going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Definitely.
This was also your first game at Legion Field. So does that change anything for you? Or do you think it did change anything for you in terms of anything being off? Was it just awkward, a little bit weird, or anything at all?
I don't think it changed that much at all from in my personal opinion. Still had a good turnout crowd wise. Field is just I would say protective. The conditions of the field are a little bit better at protective, but Legion is still a good field, and it wasn't that much of a difference.
When you guys play there, do you practice there during the week too?
No, we still practice. We practice at a complex that's like 20 minutes away.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll practice at Legion, but sometimes we'll practice at Protective. But they had a lot of stuff going on at both places this week, so we just went to our normal spot in Hoover. So,
okay, that makes sense. Then lastly, just about this past game. Like I said, it was a tough game as a 10-9 game. Third quarter specifically, it seemed like everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
yeah.
It was you guys didn't start with the ball, and then there was a fumble. There's the Alex injury, Jamar injury, a missed field goal. Did it feel any different on the sideline in terms of people getting fired up, coaching, chemistry? Was there a different feel on the sideline?
There wasn't that much of a different feel, but there was more of a sense of urgency, because we knew that the defense was really playing well, minus the first drive. But New Orleans is a good team; they're going to have their points too. And we just knew it was a sense of urgency, knowing that there's only 4 quarters to play. We got to get this thing going eventually to help our defense out and make sure that we can secure a win. And but it wasn't that much of a difference. Guys just riled up, making sure that we're all recognizing the moment that we have right now and just trying to capitalize. So it wasn't, maybe a little bit more I guess vocal guys on the sideline, but not anything like with bad intentions or anything like that. Guys just making sure that the guy next to him is getting ready to go, because we need it right now.
Absolutely. In this type of league, and you can talk about AAF, XFL as well, how often is there the sort of player leader like that vocal leader on the sideline? Do you think it's any different than a normal league? Because obviously teams that have been together longer, they have that chemistry. They've had the hierarchy, the people who built themselves up, but you guys really just got brought together.
Right.
So is it less, or
I wouldn't say there's any type of hierarchy or anything like that. Whenever guys are feeling the type of way, they know that everybody in our team is willing to listen, because we all put in the same amount of work. We all want to win. So there's no hierarchy, but most of the time the starters the starters are the leaders of the group, so the one that's talking. So Marlon talks a lot, Bo talks a lot, me and Cam talk a lot, Jamar, everybody's vocal. We're just making sure that we're all on the same page and know that we got to get it done right now. And the defensive guys are always talking. That's really their thing. They're always talking.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Albert Mondego wants to know, just over the course of your life, has there been a sports icon that has influenced you the most?
A sports icon. I wouldn't say an icon because I mean not that many people know him, but my older brother was a damn good football player. Like when I was growing up, I wasn't good at football yet, and my brother was a beast. Only thing I ever wanted to do was be as good as he was, and then that's why we ended up going to UCF because he was there, and he ended up not pursuing playing professional ball. But when I was coming up and he was in the house already, my dad was coaching him. My older brother Cliff was who I really looked up to.
How much older was he?
He's 6 years older than me and my brother.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, watching him play high school, then you're in middle school, just trying to, get there. That makes sense.
Yeah. So,
Bobby Samsonite wants to know, who is the funniest guy on the offensive line? Is it you or is it a teammate?
I guess this is biased, but I have to say me. And I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I'm probably top 2 funniest on the team, and I'm not 2. So you do what you will with that information.
Okay. Putting everyone else on notice. Jake Osmond wants to know, you talked about anime. Do you watch any sports anime?
Sports anime. That's a good one. I don't think I've ever heard of sports anime, so I can't say that I have. If you got any suggestions, feel free to let me know for the next episode because I'd definitely like to get into that.
Okay, I know he's talked about. Yeah, there's some sort of anime that I know he likes for sure. That's, I think, volleyball related. I don't know.
Okay,
I'll get a name. I'll figure it out.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, the Birmingham Stallions 8-0 this week. They play on Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern on USA Network against the Houston Gamblers. Houston Gamblers, don't let the record fool you. That's a team that we've talked about in the past, where it's one play either way, and they are a completely different team. I think they've led at halftime in maybe 6 of their games or so, and they only have 1 win. So it's not like they're a bad football team.
Yeah, no, we had a conversation about them yesterday, and they're a good football team. Just the games that we found a way to win, they've just found ways to lose. Like they've lost. You looked at their schedule; it's a 4-game span of them losing either on the last play or by less than 3 points. So it's tough, man. They're having a rough go at it, but they're still a good team. So we got to approach them as such.
100%. I mean, just watching your last game too. I mean, talking about a game of inches, your kicker, Brandon Aubrey, if it was 1 inch outside, that kick wouldn't have made it.
If we were backed up 1 more yard, that's a miss. So it's like it is definitely a game of inches, and I'm glad we've been on the good side of things so far. But we got to stop making these things so damn close.
I know, makes it interesting, but
yeah, definitely does.
If you guys could, get some rest in the 4th quarter because you're up by so much, I think that could be a good thing too.
That definitely would help.
But this was inside the USFL. Again, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, USA Network. See Jordan play the Houston Gamblers and see if Birmingham Stallions Center can continue to run the table and go 9-0. Jordan, anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
No, that's it, man. Make sure you guys tune in on Saturday and then tune in next week, Monday, so we could talk about it in the 9-0 Stallions.
Absolutely. Send in your questions wherever you, see this podcast, whether it's Facebook, Reddit, Twitter. Let us know, and we will be here next week. See ya.
See ya. Peace.